We shall never surrender. We shall fight on the beaches and in the streets.
In the closing weeks of 1940, Commonwealth forces had successfully pushed the Italian 10th Army out of Egypt. Now, as Operation Compass continued into 1941, so did the advance into eastern Libya. The highly outnumbered Allied troops drove west, capturing an alarming number of Italian prisoners and acquiring large amounts of Libyan territory. As Italian forces continued to be pushed further inside Libya, Mussolini made a call of assistance to his German allies. Hitler, although reluctant to get involved in North Africa, began preparing an expeditionary force. At a time when Germany was preparing for the invasion of the Soviet Union and was considering intervening in the Balkans campaign, the request amounted pressure on the Wehrmacht. By February 9th, the Allied offensive ended due to worn-down equipment and the diversion of Allied units to Greece. A German entry to the Balkans was becoming more likely, and the defence of Greece became the priority. Over the course of Operation Compass, 133,000 Italian soldiers had been taken prisoner. By February 12th, the first elements of the newly formed German AFRIKA Corps were arriving in Italian Libya. Commanded by ERWIN Rommel, a personal favourite of Hitler, the force was ordered to hold the line to prevent an Italian defeat. No offensives were to be made. But by March, Rommel was eager to take advantage of the distractive situation in the Balkans, and the defence soon turned into a fully fledged assault. Axis forces, still numerically dominated by Italians, made advancements against the outnumbered Allied forces. By April 10th, as the invasion of Greece and Yugoslavia was in full swing, Axis forces reached Tobruk. The Australian 9th Division remained in the fortress of Tobruk, and when they were surrounded later that day, the siege of Tobruk officially began. The bulk of Axis forces remained around the city, but Rommel's units did not have the strength or training to take the fortress. A smaller Axis force continued to drive eastward, capturing Fort Capuzzo and Bardia, and by late April they halted just across the Egyptian border after capturing Salom and the Halfaya Pass. Allied units in Tobruk continued to be resupplied and reinforced by the Royal Navy, which delivered at night. By this time, Allied units began returning from the defence of Greece, with others still remaining in Crete. On May 15th, Operation BREVITY was launched by the Allies with the objective of breaking up the Axis front line. The attack met initial success, but ended after just one day due to German reinforcements. As the Balkans campaign drew to a close after the Battle of Crete, the remaining Allied units returned to Egypt to reinforce the front lines. On June 15th, another push was made under Operation BATTLEAXE, which had the goal of relieving Tobruk, but after 2 days this too failed. Following Operation BATTLEAXE, Archibald Wavell, Commander-in-Chief of the Middle East, exchanged positions with the Commander-in-Chief of India, Claude Offleck, who took over the theatre. British and Commonwealth units were reinforced and formed into the 8th Army under Alan Cunningham, which would become one of the best known formations of the British Army during World War II. On June 8th, Allied forces, mostly made of Australians as well as British, Indian and Free French troops, launched an invasion of Vichy-controlled Syria and Lebanon. The invasion took place to remove the possibility of Nazi Germany using the area for attacks on Egypt. The operation lasted for 1 month and 1 week, ending on July 14th in an Allied victory. News of this event was censored at the time to prevent other nations hearing of a Franco-British conflict. On June 22nd, Germany had launched Operation Barbarossa, the invasion of the Soviet Union. This invasion would strongly affect the North African theatre, as it would limit the supplies and manpower of the Afrika Corps in the following years. Meanwhile, in Tobruk, the Australian 9th Division was in the process of being replaced by the British 70th Infantry Division, while successfully holding out against Axis forces and depriving them of a valuable supply port closer to the Egypt-Libya border. In the middle of the Mediterranean, just south of Sicily, lay Malta, a British colony still free from Axis control. Malta would play a significant role in the Mediterranean theatre. Its location between Italy and Libya placed it in the centre of Axis supply routes to North Africa. It therefore played an excellent role in disturbing the flow of supplies. But this came at a cost, as the islands were subject to extreme bombing and at times blockade. ERWIN Rommel stated in May 1941, Without Malta, the Axis will end by losing control of North Africa. By November, there were 119,000 Axis soldiers in East Libya, of which 65,000 were German and 54,000 were Italian, and the 8th Army numbered about the same. On November 18th, the Allies launched Operation Crusader. This large-scale offensive successfully breached the Axis lines and pushed back the German and Italian units. On November 26th, Cunningham was replaced by Neil Ritchie as commander of the 8th Army. The following day, Tobruk was relieved, ending the 241-day siege. A 7,000-strong Axis force remained in Bardia, which held out for the remainder of the year. Rommel, wanting to preserve his forces, pulled back to El Agheila, and the Allied units continued to pursue west. On December 7, 1941, the Empire of Japan bombed the US naval base Pearl Harbor in Hawaii, bringing the United States into the war. This too would affect the North African theatre, as direct military involvement would begin the following year. Allied units continued to push west, and as the month came to a close, they arrived at El Agheila, the same location they had fortified 10 months earlier. Operation Crusader ended in success on December 30th, concluding the year of 1941. Thanks for watching. Next up we have the German invasion of the Soviet Union in the year of 1941.